The infamous QtDesigner. Well, you've definitely heard me throw this word around a lot lately in this course, and in the previous part of the course as well, but what exactly is it? So QtDesigner is a WYSIWYG tool. WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. This tool enables us to design Qt applications with ease and without having to really touch our Python code at all. We can design a complete application and then just implement the logic layer in the code, such as downloading a file. If you've ever used the Visual Studio for designing desktop applications, or if you worked with NetBeans or IntelliJ for Java desktop applications, then you should be very familiar with this concept. But let's look at some of the benefits and the drawbacks of QtDesigner. One main benefit is that, and I've definitely hinted at this earlier, the separation of the logic code and the design code. What I mean by that is that past are the days where we would have to create a new instance of, say, a QLine edit, create a new instance of a layout, add a QLine edit to the layout, and then set the layout manually in our class, for example, a QDialog class. You can see that this was definitely a fairly tedious task, and this is why tools such as QtDesigner exist. With it, we'll be able to essentially hide all these layers of code, if you want to call them that way, and not really worry about them at all. All we'll have to do in the end is import the generated Python files, about which we'll talk more later in this module. I would also argue that QtDesigner speeds up the application development process significantly, but I know that there are also people out there who disagree with me. So this is entirely subjective. If you prefer designing your application in the code itself, you're more than welcome to do that. One more thing is that QtDesigner has some abilities other than the design part. For example, you can actually connect signals and slots in it. Now remember, signals and slots are our events and handlers. I haven't honestly found this particular feature very useful myself, but I'm sure that there are some people who may use it. So what about the drawbacks? Well, one of the main reasons people claim they dislike QtDesigner is because it doesn't allow them for the complete control of the design due to all this abstractioning happening. Which is true, at least sort of. The abstraction definitely does happen. I mean, all this code is hidden from you, but I would have to disagree. Because once this Python code is generated for all these different UI elements, you can do whatever you want with it, just as if you were typing that code yourself. Speaking of the code generation, one drawback would be that QtDesigner doesn't actually generate Python code. Recall that Qt is made for C++, and as such, the QtDesigner creates a .ui file, which is essentially a file with an XML syntax. We'll be using another tool, a command line tool called PyUIC or PySide-UIC, that depends on which Python binding you opted to use, to actually generate Python files from those UI files. Well, and don't be afraid though, this is a very simple tool and takes seconds to run. So how do you get QtDesigner? Well, you'll be happy to know that QtDesigner is already installed on your computer if you have PyQt installed. If you're running Windows, just search for Designer in the Start menu. Notice it's Designer that you should be searching for, not QtDesigner. For Linux and Mac, the designer should live in the bin directory or an equivalent directory for your machine. So all this talk about QtDesigner, you still have no idea what it looks like. So let's familiarize ourselves with its interface in our next video.